generally quite nice Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which is fantastic for me because I finish early on a Saturday and I have Sunday and Monday off. In fact, it was so nice last weekend that we had the first barbecue of summer at my mother's house, which was very nice. It was in fact on my father's barbecue that I bought him as a Christmas present, and he set it all up, and then he wanted to actually, you know, cook something on it, so he cooked sausages. It was a bit of a trial and error because none of us have really done much in the way of barbecuing before, but we, you know, followed a few instructions. Light the coals, wait for them to go white, etc., etc. And it actually worked out quite all right. So, but in this weather there is little point in doing that. So I'm afraid we're going to have to just stick in here. Right, I shall begin with some of the international news that's been going on recently, which is quite interesting. There is something that parts America from Europe, besides the Atlantic Ocean. It's called the Great Atlantic Rift. It is in fact an always open, how's best to describe it? An always open chasm, I guess. That's where two plates are moving apart from each other. So it's quite volcanic, and this rift goes up and down the centre of the Atlantic. One particular country that lives in the middle of the Atlantic is called Iceland, and Iceland, the rift goes through Iceland, in fact goes underneath Iceland, and although Iceland is composed of ice quite a lot, because it's sort of up that way on the polar circle, so to speak, the Arctic Circle. It has a lot of active volcanoes for obvious reasons. The problem with these volcanoes is that they're almost subterranean in the fact that they're usually buried under miles and miles of ice. One such volcano, which I'm not even going to try and pronounce because it's full of F, J's and V's and K's and that sort of thing, has erupted very recently. Now, this volcano is underneath a glacier, which means when it goes off several things. Firstly, it means that it's melting the ice above and around it, and so it's, you know, causing widespread flooding. It also means that when it goes off, it's quite explosive, and there's a lot of shit that's thrown up into the air. There's a lot of shit anyway from a volcano, all sorts of volcanic dust and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people have said that volcanoes in the past have been responsible for extinctions because their ash is so bad it can block out the sun and cause, you know, major cooling. Now, this volcano has gone off, and in the past, when it's gone off for a very long time. Its eruptions, I think in the 1700s, lasted for 2 years. So I think Mauna Loa on Hawaii, that is, you know, continuously spewing, it could be that sort of thing. The problem is that it's sent up a lot of ash, the wind is blowing the wrong direction, and this ash is quite hazardous to aeroplanes. In fact, it's shot airspaces above countries across Europe since the middle of last week, and the eruption isn't over yet. This is causing a little bit of problem, obviously. We're quite hard done by with the economy as it is. We don't really need anything to lose us money. And there are thousands and thousands of people trapped all over the world, either wanting to come into England or into Europe, or going home from Europe to wherever they're going, and they're not able to do anything at the moment. How long this lasts for, we don't know. You know, every day they say, we're going to start doing it again tomorrow, and there are some flights leaving some places, heading some directions which are away from this Icelandic thing. But the problem is that due to the tilt in the Earth, if you're trying to get to America, you don't go, you know, across the Atlantic. You actually almost go up to the Arctic Pole and down the other side. I've travelled there several times, and that's the major route. So this Icelandic volcano is smack bang in the middle of of a very busy route in the transatlantic area, and of course with the wind blowing, you know, east and south, not good at all. Nevertheless, life goes on. For me, you might have noticed that I have calmed things down on the forum. You might notice that my blogs are becoming a little bit empty. This is because I'm focusing on one thing at the moment. I'm focusing on trying to apply for different jobs to get another job, and the problem is this. The major problem is that I just don't have enough money, particularly with the rise in taxes, the rise in everything that happens due to the bad economy. I'm living on my own, and that is not very easy on the wage that I'm on. So I'm looking for other jobs. At the moment we've been focusing on jobs in transport, with trains, ferries, ships, that sort of thing. And I'm putting a lot of time and effort into that, and also into applying and stuff like that. So until I get a better job with more money, I'm grounded in terms of being able to go to, you know, mixed martial arts events or go on holiday to the US. All these things are mainly covered at the moment, if they happen at all, by money that is not mine. So it's either a birthday present, a Christmas present, or it's, you know, some sort of inheritance money. All of which is sporadic and, you know, doesn't happen all the time. So I'm trying my hardest, but if things are a bit loose in the next sort of couple of months, that's why. I do apologise now. Having said that, I can still report on mixed martial arts. WEC 48 is coming up this weekend, and my prediction video for that will be up very shortly. Jake Shields had just managed to beat Dan Henderson in a title defence. How he managed to do it, I don't know. But he did. Mayhem Miller, who he had a successful title defence against last year, but it was very iffy, came into the ring, as sometimes happens, and challenged, you know, for the title. Unfortunately, he did it a bit abruptly, breaking into a post-fight interview, and it didn't go down too well with Shields. And what resulted was an all-out fight between several mixed martial arts camps that were in the ring at the time, you know, tending to whoever fighters were there. I think Nick and Nate Diaz were involved. I believe Gilbert Melendez was involved. Jake Shields, Mayhem Miller were involved. In the end, I don't really know what to say. I don't condone that sort of behaviour. I believe that martial arts should teach you self-discipline. I think it was absolutely wrong of Mayhem Miller to come into the cage and to disrupt a post-fight interview like that. I do. But I also think it's totally wrong to then become physical when basically that just makes you look like a... Well, it makes you look like you have absolutely no self-discipline at all. And then when it spirals and the whole camps, you know, get involved, what do they think that looks like? I mean, this isn't professional wrestling, and that's not the point of what we're trying to get across on national television. There are a few things that make me wonder if this was in some way expected and not considered by the institution a complete disaster. The first thing is, of course, that they let Mayhem Miller into the cage to begin with to, you know, incite rage in Jake Shields and his camp. And the second thing, of course, is that when the actual post-fight brawl began, they didn't cut the tape and go straight to a commercial or basically pretend it didn't happen. You know, there's a saying that even bad press is press, and maybe they are struggling in ratings and need something like that. I think, you know, institutions do tend to do things that favour themselves rather than the sport. I think all are guilty in that.